Hello again. This is lesson 5 in paragraph and essay writing, which is entitled, the unit is entitled Process and Map Essays. Okay, the slides have been prepared by me, Assistant Professor Dr. Rana Hamid Al-Bahrani, and my colleague, together with my colleague, Assistant Professor Jinan Ahmed. So here in this, in these slides, we are gonna learn two types of essays. Okay, process and map. These two types are very easy. Why? Because you are going to, see a diagram or a picture, or let's say a picture that consists of smaller pictures that describe for you certain things, and you are going to study these pictures, and then formulate your own, let's say, essay. So in a process essay, there are certain things that I want you just to pay attention to. It's very easy, as I told you, but you have to focus clearly. First of all, there is an introductory part. In the introduction, you will say, for instance, these pictures illustrate the process of making tea, or how tea is produced, or how tea is produced and is served. Okay, so whatever. This is the first sentence. See, then you count how many stages, how many pictures, how many things, and try to divide these pictures according to the, to certain things. I'm gonna explain later. How many pictures in that, let's say, image, and how I divide them. So after the introductory statement, when you say, and this picture illustrates, or these pictures illustrate how tea is produced. There are, let's say, it seems that they are 18. Then you number how many stages and try to write your second sentence. Okay, and then you say in the following paragraph that you are going to describe how tea is produced or how something is done. So this is the introductory or the introduction of an essay. Then you write 2 paragraphs or 3. It depends on the idea mentioned in the images itself, or inside the pictures itself. Okay, use mostly here you have use mostly present simple and present simple passive. Okay, present simple and present simple passive, because you are describing things. Okay, and also you are required to use linking words. Remember, in one of the lessons I gave you some linking words for furthermore, later, moreover, in addition, besides. Okay, so you have to use simple and simple passive, simple present passive, and simple present tense, and use linking words. And the number of words is usually 150, which means 15 lines. 15 lines. So I'm going to give you this example, for instance. This is an example. Okay, in this example, you can see what? You can see here we have so many pictures. Okay, stages. We have stages 1 till 18. But before you write your own essay, just focus on the pictures. These pictures represent what? Here in the title or in the introduction, I say the pictures below show how tea is produced. They also illustrate the process of making a cup of tea. See, we have 18 stages, but not all the 18 stages talk about how tea is produced. Okay, it talks, let's say from 1 till, let's say, 8, it talks about what? Produced and delivered to the malls. If you want to buy, okay, then you have to go to the mall and bring it back to your home. Okay, if you want to make, then it will start from 11, okay, till maybe from 11 till, let's say, till 17. Okay, if you want to serve, from 17 to 18. So here, and these 2 lines, see, the author focused on two types of stages. We have the stage of production and the stage of serving tea, making tea. In my opinion, I can write it in a different way. For instance, I talk about how tea is produced from picture 1 till picture, let's say, picture 8. Then how tea is bought. Okay, I have someone has to go to the market and then choose or select certain, let's say, types of tea. Maybe one type, maybe different. Maybe you mix different types of tea and prepare your own and bring it back home. How tea is prepared Okay, here we have both. So first of all, we have produced. Then we have what? We have bought. Then we have prepared. Okay. Then we have what? Served. So we have four stages. This is for me. For the author, the author talks about only two stages: produced and served. So the matter is left to you. It depends on you. Do you want to divide these stages into several sub-stages depending on the, let's say, idea? Okay, similar idea should be grouped together. Okay, and the different ones also together. So what's important is that you have to know. You have to write an introduction. In the introduction, usually the first statement is what? These pictures, or the pictures below, show how tea is produced. They also illustrate the process of making a cup of tea. Okay, these are the process of making it, starting from 11 till 18. Okay, we have also some expressions just like what the pictures illustrate how tea is produced. The pictures show the steps involved in making tea. The diagram highlights the process by which tea is produced. See, is produced, passive voice. So here I just want you to pay attention. In the introduction, the first sentence, you talk about what these images or pictures, the small pictures, are about. Okay, and then you count the stages or the steps, and then group the steps according to the theme. The first theme is what? The theme of a production. The second is the theme of, let's say, serving. It's up to you. As I told you, for me, if the matter was left to me, I will divide it into four stages. So each stage I dedicate one paragraph for each stage. Or you may say, no, there is no need to talk about, let's say, buying. It's part of, let's say, preparing. It's up to you. All of them, there is logic everywhere. Okay, so there is nothing right or wrong. There is no one, let's say, a rule. It depends on the way you see. So after the introduction, you have the body. The body consists of how many paragraphs? It depends on the way you divide these stages by grouping, as I told you, the ideas. There is no conclusion. So we finish with the first part, and I already give you, let's say, here an example. These pictures illustrate how tea is produced and how a cup of tea is made. After this statement, we have what? We have to count the stages. There are 18 stages in the diagram, from sowing the tea seeds in India and China to enjoying a cup of tea at home. See, they grouped all the stages together by explaining these stages about what? About producing tea and preparing tea. So the next paragraph is the body. The body consists of two sub-bodies. The first one about what? This paragraph talks about what? Talks about how tea is produced. The first step is that the tea seeds are sown, and then the sun shines, okay, which causes what? The seeds to grow into a plant. Once the plants have grown sufficiently, the leaves are then picked by the farmer and put into the baskets. After the picking stage, the tea leaves are spread out in the sun to be dried. The tea leaves are packed into boxes, and then they are loaded onto lorries, which take the boxes of tea to supermarkets. Now, this is the step of what? Production, tea production. The following paragraph, which is also a body, but talks about what? The second stage, which is the stage of serving, preparing tea. In order to make a cup of tea, first of all, you buy a box of tea and take it home. Next, you fill the kettle with water and put it on the stove to boil. Meanwhile, you put a tea pack in a cup, and once the kettle has boiled, okay, the water is poured into the cup. Having been left in the cup for 2 minutes, the tea pack is then removed, and the tea is now ready to drink. At this point, milk, sugar can be added. The final step is that you drink a nice cup of hot tea. So here we have an introduction, and then we have two bodies. There is no conclusion, as you see. Okay, so I left for you another example. I want you to write a report about this. the report will be considered final. You have to write this report in your hand. It's supposed to be handwritten. Using your hand. Do not try to print it out, or let's say using laptop or something. You have to write it by yourself, by your hand. Okay, and then you have to submit this assignment, this report to me. It will be out of 15 score, and will be considered the final report, the final score, part of the final score in the final examination. Okay, the final examination is out of 50. 15 for this report, okay, and 35 for the final examination. So please try to take care when you write something, write your report. I'm gonna make a class for the final examination, because the report should be submitted in a specific class. Okay. Now the second type of essays is the map essays. Okay. Here we have, again, you have to write a brief introduction to the maps in your own words. Okay. Trying to describe what happens before and after. Not only this, of course, in all types of of such essays, you have to write 15 lines, which means 150 words. It can be 2 paragraphs, it can be 3. We don't know. It depends on the idea mentioned in the pictures. Okay, but mostly or generally, they are 2 paragraphs. Mostly or generally speaking. Okay. Now, let me see. Here also we have since we are maps, we have 2 maps. So it means an old one and new one, which means they are changes. So when you talk about changes, you have to use what? Present perfect or present perfect passive. So on the first type of process essay, you use what? Simple present tense or simple present passive. In map essay, you use what? Present perfect tense or present perfect passive. You say a number of important changes have been taken place in the last decade. The city has become much more modern, See, present perfect or present perfect have taken place, or you can see has been introduced, etc. So present perfect passive. Like what? For instance, I'm gonna give you this picture. If you see this picture, the maps, below show changes in the Spain city of Castellon in recent times. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features. So in the introduction, you write what? These 2 maps illustrate, the changes that have been made to the same city from 2000 to nowadays, until nowadays. You can say also something else. Some of the, let's say, city milestones, or let's say areas are put the same, but others have been changed. So in the following paragraphs, the changes we are gonna, the researcher, or let's say you can say the following paragraphs will talk about the city in its old, let's say, version and in its a new version. Then you dedicate a paragraph to the old city and another one to the new city. You say in the old, let's say in the first paragraph in the body, you say, for instance, Castle in 2000 city, Castellan city in 2000 was a small city that consists of, let's say, few things and few things, let's say, or buildings. For instance, there was a university, a train station, old market, city center, and there was only one street and a port. But the port was somehow, let's say, naked. There is nothing, no recreationals, no infrastructures. There were a few trees and a few buildings, whatever. Even there were no, let's say, there is only one let's say, a street for cars. No, there is no specific, let's say, road that's made for people to walk or enjoy the area. In Castilian today, this is a new paragraph, has already changed a lot, has been changed a lot, or has changed. Whatever, because so many, let's say, buildings have been built. So many things have been added. It has become more crowded. See, it is not mentioned, but I can see the difference. Then you talk about the difference. For instance, there was used to be only a university, and the university has no hostel. Nowadays, okay, and today there is a hall that's specific for what? For the students, for the residents. And beside the university, there has been what? They built a new shopping center. Okay, new shopping centers. Is there any shopping center again? If it is only one, you say years ago there was only, let's say, one old supermarket. Nowadays we have a new shopping center. There are new shops, and we have what? And there is what? A new market. But even the market, the place of the market has been changed from the left to the right. Okay, a train station has been changed into a police station. And beside the police station, there is built what? Let's say you can say new train station. Here in the first, let's say, picture or map, you see there was only city center. Now we have city center for only for bike rental scheme. Okay, to bike hire a bike for on a rental scheme. The port was naked at that time, and now we have what? Cinemas, we have bars, clubs, and etc. So you try to focus and make the changes, and that's it. So you talk about the city in 2000, and then you talk about the same city nowadays. So you have two bodies, one body that consists of two paragraphs, one for the old and another one for what? For the new. Plus the introduction, of course, that we already, finished. If you take, let's say, this example, we will say, for instance, here, the two maps show the main changes which have taken place, okay, in the town of Castilian. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this word because I'm not familiar with this town, between the year 2000 and today. Generally, in general, it appears that Castilian has become a much more modern city with far more shopping and transport facilities. This paragraph, okay, should be merged with the second one, because I told you have to have only one introduction. Then we have what? Another paragraph for the body. One interesting change is that a new tram line has been built to connect the university with the town center. In 2000, there wasn't any accommodation for students, but a hall of residence has been built near the university. Another striking change is that the old market in the newest in the west of the city has been knocked down to make way for new shops. A completely new covered market has been built on the other side of the town. If we look at the port area, it has been pedestrianized, okay, since 2000, and a range of entertainment facilities have been built, such as cinemas, bars, and clubs. The northeast of the city used to be a green area with lots of trees, but the trees have been cut down and a new shopping complex has been constructed. A final interesting development has been the introduction of a bike rental scheme in the city center. Here, the author did what? He made here the introduction two parts. I don't prefer this. Make the introduction only one paragraph. Then he talks about part of the changes in one paragraph, and another, let's say, other changes in second paragraph. In my opinion, it's more organized if you talk about the old city and then dedicate one paragraph about the old city, and then the second and another paragraph about the new city. Now I put again here an example for you. Okay, you can in the final report, okay, you are free whether to talk about, say, to talk about this one or about the previous one, about map or about process. So here again, you have to start down. You say these two maps illustrate the recent changes that have been occurred in the town of Kingsville Villa. Okay. And here you can say it seems that there are lots of changes have been occurred to the town. Okay. Yes. Then you dedicate one paragraph to 2002, and you dedicate the third paragraph, which is the second of the body, okay, to the same town but today. So once you finish, okay, as I told you, there is no conclusion. Directly, you have to end your essay. This is the end. of today's lesson. I hope that I already explained it in a very clear way. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate to put your questions on the stream to discuss it together and in public. Thank you very much.